Okay, my camera is showing is not working. Give me a minute. Oh, my camera isn't working. I don't get that. One 1,000, two 1,000, three 1,000. Well, I'm not gonna worry about getting another camera then, unless I don't think I got another one. But oh, that's kind of shitty. Just give me a second. I'm gonna go through the settings on here because I'm not finding anything that shows. Oh, okay. We are good. Sorry about that. I didn't understand it when I got in here. I don't know how long this has been like this. I just noticed that the power light wasn't on, and I'm looking. It's plugged in, but I also noticed my Xbox was off. And I'm like, God, I got to find out where that's plugged in because if it shuts that off, I want to plug my hard drive in there so it shuts off when I shut the thing off. And then when I turned it on, it still didn't come on. I unplugged it and plugged it back in. Well, then when I started Twitch up, it's powered up, but it wasn't showing me the green light. And then what I did was I had to go into the Twitch settings. I was looking in the Xbox settings at first, couldn't find it. But as soon as I turned it on in Twitch, then it's got a green light. It's showing I got a camera. Sorry about that. Hey, I hope everybody's doing good. It's a little gloomy today. And I got to tell you, though, hope everybody wishes me luck. It would really change my life. And with any luck, it would change a few other people's lives, maybe, too. But maybe I'm going to win the lottery today. I don't want to jinx it. I'm saying maybe. But I was going to get something earlier this week, and when me and my brother went to the grocery store, well, at the time, and I am not complaining, I really didn't care because it was kind of like an impulse thing. I figured, well, if I'm going to go to that end of town, I'll go get my virus scanner. There was like one or two other things I was going to pick up. They weren't that expensive, but they were bulky, and the pop was on sale, so I picked up more pop than I had planned. And my brother recognized that he needed water. He can't drink tap water. As long as I don't have to pay for it, I don't care. He can drink whatever he wants. And so he picked up some water. Well, by the time, and again, I'm not bitching at him because the pop I picked up, and you had to buy two of them to get it on sale. They took up a lot of room, so I really, even if he hadn't have gotten water, I don't think I'd have been able to do it. But I wanted to save that $5. That meant a lot to me, and so I went out today, and I got some. I'm gonna explain this. I'm gonna get to the UFO stuff real quick, but I saw this. God, it was either. It's either Foxy No Tail or Silent Whisper, or it was one of the Hermitcraft guys, and I think they did 4. I'm gonna do 5. It might not work, but I got this up so I can put them under it, and then I built these here, hoping to give it enough shade, and I don't think it has enough shade, but I want to make like a mushroom farm, and I'll do some other work, but. I might actually have to put the mushrooms also on top of this if I can. Maybe I can't. I don't know, but I'll work on this more later. But I want to try and get like a mushroom farm. So I started putting the mushrooms up, and it was probably a temporary thing, anyways. I got thinking of it because I wanted to make a potion, and I needed a fermented spider eye, and I needed mushrooms for that. And this is the part that pisses me off. Well, these wouldn't have worked anyways, but I couldn't find any mushrooms here, so I had to basically go and look for them. And then when I come over here and work on this, I'm like, God damn it, I had mushrooms here all along. That kind of, those wouldn't have worked, but I still, it was like I needed a blue flower, and I looked all over here on this side, and finally went boating around because I knew I had seen some near one of the outposts. And then when I get back, there are blue flowers on the exact opposite side of this mountain range. So I was a little pissed off. So yeah, I went out and to get that stuff today. I got my virus scanner. So as soon as I can get upstairs again, I will be able to check that out. I seriously doubt if it's anything, but I can, once it's done, depending on what it is, I'll tell you. If it's a gigantic, colossal letdown, I'll let you know. But I don't want to go into too much detail on it and until I know what it is. And then if it's something I don't want to talk about, I don't have to talk about it. And well, the thing I was gonna buy, like, it was a couple things. Every one of them was on sale. Apparently they're doing, I didn't know this, but apparently they're doing a Black Friday sale for the rest of the month. And if I'd have gone earlier, it might not have been on sale. So that was good news. And then I had to stop at the hardware store to pick up, again, something really, really small. Biggest thing was I got some batteries for the remotes and other stuff. And they told me that they've got some kind of a radio drawing. And if I filled out a card, you can win maybe $1,000. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is turning out to be a really good day. And I told him, I go, yeah, I got lottery tickets with all the other stuff going on. Maybe this is the lottery ticket I'll win. So I hope everybody wishes me luck on that, sincerely. And I told him, because I'll be honest with you, if I would be happy if I just won enough to live on. I really would. But I don't know how much that is. I really don't. This is why I don't want anybody spending any money on me, because I really don't know what it would cost. And there was, God, I think it had Charlize Theron in it. She played a grown-up who had been just traumatized as a kid, and people had given her enough money to live on her whole life while it was running out. And I don't want to be that person. I literally don't want to be that person where, if I honestly thought I could get over this, if I thought I was going to get better, it'd be a different story. But when I was watching that movie, I really didn't like, and she was playing, I think it was based on a real story, but she was basically playing somebody that, expected, people to fund her lifestyle for the rest of her life. Now, I'm not talking like government disability, it was like donations from people. And I can tell you right now, I can see why that's necessary. It's necessary because the government isn't stepping up and doing what it should. We can give all these tax breaks to the billionaires. We can give all these tax breaks to like people like the Waltons. And we can give food stamps and other assistance to the people that they hire to work for them. And these people are making billions. They're the Walton family. There's like 8 of them, and all they do is own Walmart. It's not like each one of them was like a rocket scientist, cured some deadly disease, or figured out how we were going to get to Mars or something like that. They just own a store. And they make all this money because they don't pay their workers enough. They get tax breaks from Republicans. They don't pay their workers enough. So they don't pay their taxes. They don't pay their workers enough. And because of that, they get to be like the richest, like I think there's 8 members of that family that are in like the top 10 or top 15 richest families in the world. At least in the U.S. Maybe not the world, but at least in the U.S. And it's like, oh my God, that and then the Republicans want to stop welfare. Well, hey, start with the Republican Party. When you look at what these corporate people are doing, how is that not welfare? When you look at the Waltons, how is that not welfare? I don't get it, and I really don't get it. And so wish me luck. It ain't. Just wish me luck. I'm feeling pretty good to that. That really. I mean, even if it's a momentary thing, it felt good. It really felt good today. It's like, oh my God, I did. It really felt good. It really did. But I told him, I go, I can't promise much more, but I go, if I do win the lottery big, like, really big, I told him, I go, I'll at least come back and get you guys some gift certificates for like a nice dinner somewhere. And that's what I was telling my brother. I don't know for sure what it would be, but if I did win one of those big lotteries, I would wanna do something. Find one thing that you could spend your money on, and like I don't know what that would be. I might even have to hire somebody. It's probably something I wouldn't be able to do myself, but I could hire somebody and run it like a charity, not a Trump charity, but like a real fucking charity where you put money into it and it's not a tax scam. You're actually doing it to help people. I could see that because even if I want a shitload of money, unless I get better, things that I would have done before, and who knows, maybe with the right doctors, I seriously doubt it, but maybe with the right doctors, they'd figure this out, or at least improve things. But the thing I thought of was, you could do something, either help food banks or set up a charity where, like, and it'd all be based on, because this is something my dad said, and he said, well, you win the lottery, and what you want to do is you want to invest it and just live on the interest. And if I set a charity up, and that's because back then the lotteries were not quite so ridiculous as they are now. Back then, with the lottery, you'd win enough where you'd live comfortably. But see, now they got these situations where you, if you win, like let's say if like I'm in my 50s, and if I won like the big ones, if I won that, if you get $1 billion now, let's just say you didn't take it as the one lump sum. You got it to where you were going to get a portion of it every year for 20 years or something like that. Well, you could literally, if you got like $1 billion, you're going to lose, let's just go with the lump sum. Because if you do the lump sum, you usually lose like half of it for taxes. And here's the thing, you end up with like say 400 or 500 million. If you're younger, go watch a movie called Brewster Millions. It's got Richard Pryor in it, and honest to God, you might even be able to watch it with your kids. I don't think he swears as much in that one. He usually swears a lot, but I don't think he swears that much in that one. And he gets an inheritance, and the thing he's got to do is, I think it's like 30 million or something like that. He has to piss it away in 30 days. He has to have a receipt for everything, and he can't invest it. He's got to piss it all away. He's got to spend it. I mean, he could spend it on good things, but I don't think he can give it to like a charity. He's got to spend it. It's like he's got to spend it on greedy shit, and like cars, and like cars might not have even worked because that might have still been worth something. And the guy, and if he didn't spend it, he didn't get anything. But if he could spend it all in the 30 days or whatever it is, well, then he would win the full inheritance. And these rich old boys, he's a black guy, really good comedian, really good actor. And there's these rich white people, they're hoping he fails because I think they get the something happens with the money that benefits them a lot more if he fails. And what was funny is they're monitoring everything he did. They got somebody following him. Well, this was funny. He walked into an antique shop, and they go, "Oh my God, this guy's a moron. We're gonna win this season." They go, well, "What did he do?" Well, he went in and bought like it was an antique stamp, and the stamp was worth like I might be wrong, but I'm gonna say it was worth like $1 million or something. They go, "This guy's an idiot. That's an asset. That's worth money." And then the guy that was kind of rooting for him, he goes, "No, it isn't." He fucking mailed it, and he put it on a postcard or a stamp with other stamps, and he mailed it to him. So it was no longer worth as much because it had been used in postage. And it was funny. By the end of it, he was so sick of spending money. And that was the whole point of it. The rich guy that left it to him, didn't want to give it to somebody that would piss it all away in a lifetime. So he wanted, by the end of the 30 days, he figured this guy would be so sick of spending money, he would get it out of his system, that when he inherited the billions, he'd be a little more manageable of it. And but like, if you had that kind of money, I don't, 1 year you might spend a little bit of money because you might want to buy a house, buy a car, maybe take a couple trips. But see, that's the thing for me. Almost anywhere I would have wanted to go when I was younger, if it's anything that requires physical activity, it's going to wear me out. I could fall again and get hurt. Just wouldn't be that fun. And anywhere that wouldn't, like wouldn't be beach, wouldn't be, sailing, that kind of shit, anything like that. Going to museums is nothing I would have loved to have done. I would have gone, when I was younger, I would have gone to Washington, and I would have seen the monuments and stuff like that, the Smithsonian. Don't know if I'd have done it, but if I had the money, going to parts of Europe and seeing the old museums and the architecture, that's something that would be interesting to me, While trying to get around, like right now I need a walker, and even if I upgrade to like a cane or something like that, I'd almost have to have a wheelchair because too much walking, I'm going to fall down, might get hurt. If I fall on cement steps or cement floor, it might be a little worse than falling around here. And, so none of that would be that fun for me. It just wouldn't. And but helping, doing something to help out people, that would be interesting. This isn't bad. Doing this isn't bad, but it's not good. It's shit. But you could pick something like I said before, like filling food banks or something like that. Setting up a thing where every year you maybe help some of these old veterans get to those. God, I think they're called Valor trips or something like that, where you basically help these old World War II vets go see the new monument for them, and you could donate money to help. There's nothing you'd have to do, and maybe once in a while you could go and see how they like it. But you could help these old guys get there, because God knows they've deserved it. They have absolutely deserved it. Another thing that I wouldn't mind doing if I had the money, and it's something, maybe you'll never get there, but I would love to try and get a sample of that Terra Preta but get some of that Terra Preta. It's this, I think they call it black soil or dark soil or something like that. But it's a soil that they have found in the Amazon, and it's not natural. They have found pottery, charcoal, probably like blood sacrifices and human remains, and I know some people that have, basically tried to steal from me since my mom died. I wouldn't, this is just joke. But hey, I volunteer them as tribute if we need a human sacrifice or something like that. But joking, just joking. Uh, but the way they explain it, this soil is not natural. They don't think it occurred naturally. They think it was engineered, but they're not sure. And from what they say, if you go somewhere where it's arid, you got like a acre, couple acres or something like that that's arid. They say if you put one handful of this in the dirt, it'll revitalize that dead soil. There's something in it, bacteria or otherwise. And one of the things they say is where this stuff is, if nothing interferes with it, it spreads so much every year, so it's growing out. But what they found is this stuff is around those old Aztec or Mayan ruins or whatever. And I'd love to get a sample of that and then either hire or maybe work with some of these food soil people and see if we could actually recreate it. Because they study the soil. If I was healthier, if I could guarantee, I went somewhere today, and because I was by myself, I did take my phone, but I left it in the car. So, when I was coming home, I forgot where my phone was because I was going to text my brother because he was going to help me unload the car, and I was going to text him and let him know I was on my way. I couldn't remember where I put my phone. I literally couldn't. And then by the time I got in here and everything was done, then I remembered where it was in the car, and I had to go back out and get it. But it's like, and this is the problem. This is why I don't read that much anymore, because I would read, and then sometimes when I go back and read, I don't remember what I read, the last few days. And then I might remember it the next day. And it just wasn't as fun for me to read because of that. And, yeah, just not fun. And, but that would be something where you'd be funding it. You could maybe help out a little bit, but there would be people there that could maybe do the work, because if we could recreate that, and the food soil people, I think they're probably close. But they might be able to, if you had the money, they might be able to help you figure that out. And that would be fucking huge. Because one of the things with those food soil people, and I really have no idea, because I've heard people that look for this stuff, but I haven't heard anybody that really understands the ground, like the food soil people do, Dr. Elaine and her group. And, but like when those people say, they go, we don't really understand it, but like where this stuff is, if nothing bothers it, it's like every year it creeps a little bit. So it comes further and further out. Well, what if you could figure out how to do it? You could set up here where I'm living, I could set up a spot of that. And I did a little bit, probably not the year my mom died, but like the year before that. I was getting charcoal, and some of it wasn't the same, but I was putting charcoal in the ground. I was putting wood in the ground. I didn't put any pottery, but I was burying that, and it might take a year or two, but because that charcoal, the way they were talking, that absorbs nutrients, and it's kind of like a sponge for nutrients. And then after a while, that is like a radiator of nutrients. And it might not work, but I figured it ain't going to hurt nothing. It's just a bag of charcoal here and there. But it would be really interesting to see what happens over time if you had the right people. Because I'm just saying, that would be huge. If you figured that out, that would just be huge. Okay. Because one of the things like the food soil, I promise I'll get the UFOs. I forgot about it. Apologize. But those food soil people, when you listen to them, they are claiming that when you It's some kind of a like a compost tea or something like that they make. They have gone into areas where you've got trees that are sick, trees that have been infested with stuff and other shit. And what they do is they take that compost tea and it's you can't just make it like an idiot. They've got a way to do it, but they make that stuff and then what they're or worm tea I think it is. It's something like that. Well, when they get done with it, they can make a tea out of it and they say if you take that and spray it over those trees, they get healthy. And the way they're talking, like, the stuff you need best pesticides for, um, that stuff there, they're claiming only affects plants that are malnutrition or sick, and they can fix it with this compost tea. They got a whole thing to it, but they go, and they said they've shown it over years, like after they've been into a place, after they've worked with the farmer for like a couple years, that farmer doesn't need pesticides anymore because they said that those chemicals you use in pesticides harm the chemicals and stuff. I got to run to the bathroom. I will be back. If I don't come back, I either fell down or I fell asleep. I'll be back. If I'm not back in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just bail. I'm probably not going to be back right away. I'll be back as quick as I can if I can. Back. And, uh, but yeah, but that thing's kind of cool. Okay, now the UFO news, and if I forget something, I forget something. But that David Grouch, who's a whistleblower, he, I think I saw something where he got his security clearance back, if I'm not mistaken. And I kind of consider that a huge deal. And then if I did this already, I apologize. I don't remember doing it, but I saw this a couple days ago, and I don't think I've done a Minecraft stream since I saw it. 'Cause I think I saw it after I did my last Minecraft stream, but I could be wrong. But David Grouch has gotten his security clearance back, and then the other thing is that guy that is in charge of Arrow, the all domain aerospace whatever it is, Arrow, AARO or ROW. Uh, the guy that heads that up, I had heard this a while ago, and I think I told you this, but that guy there used to report to somebody at the middle or high middle at the Pentagon. And you heard this from Lou Elizondo that uh, there were people in that area who didn't think we should be investigating UFOs because they were religious nuts and yeah, I said it. They were religious nuts and they thought that they were investigating like demonology or something, and that, Jesus wouldn't come back, and, it'd be like 40 days, 40 days and 40 nights of cats and dogs sleeping together, whatever fucking stupid shit they believe. And that was the thing, he, because he ran into some guy. Well, we don't need to investigate that. We already know what it is. And he goes, really? And he goes, well, if you really know, and he was being completely serious. He goes, if you really know what this is, it helped me out and saved me a lot of time. And the guy goes, well, you just go read your Bible, and it's all in there. We don't need to investigate. In fact, we're probably going to have problems investigating this. And it's like, oh my God, anybody that's that fucking crazy should not have a high-ranking position anywhere in the government. This is something Bill Maher said. This was a number of years ago. He was talking about these religious people. He goes, look, I'm not saying that religious people shouldn't be able to be in government. He goes, I'm really not. But he goes, they really should not get to vote on anything that involves the future because they don't think we have one. They think the world, if you think the world is going to end and Jesus is coming back, then you should not get to vote. You should not get to vote on the future since you don't think we have one. And, and then when you look at some of those people on the right, yeah. You take a look at Marjorie Taylor Greene and some of these other fucking whack jobs. One, they don't love our country. Two, they're fucking nuts. But when these religious people get in there and they don't think we have a future, they're just basically waiting until Jesus comes back so we can let the Jews die and move on. That's wrong. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so that sounds like that's gonna happen by the end of the year. Well, no, I don't know when that's gonna happen, but it sounded like that all that UFO stuff was gonna get moved up to somebody much higher. I think it's gonna go to a 1, 2, or 3-star general. That's who they will be reporting to. And they said, they go, well, whether you like it or not, that does indicate that it is going to be taken at a much more serious level. And I still think they need, just like the rape cases and shit like that. I still think it needs to get taken out from the Pentagon, and it should go to someone else, because I don't think they can be with what they've done. I don't think they can be trusted with it. You take like they were just sitting there, thumb up their ass, not doing nothing, lying, until Congress passed that requirement that they have to report on this. And then, Christian Gillibrand, and I hope, as long as it's the same thing or better, I don't care. But she really was doing the good fight on this. And as soon as she started talking about creating something to look at these things, then the Pentagon's like, oh, you don't need to do that. We can do that for you. Yeah, we can do that for you. Yep. And after a year, they hadn't even created an email address, no website, and they didn't have a phone. And that's the other thing. That guy that's been running it, I think it's pronounced Sean, but it's basically spelled Sean. So it's like that guy who was married to Madonna for a little bit. But he's gonna be replaced. It sounds like by the end of the year, and so that's good news. I gotta go. I don't know what I gotta do to get it, but I gotta go fuck around and get a new axe. Or if I got another one that's damaged, I can just put them together. And I gotta get some damn trees. I'll take. Okay. But sounds like he's going to be replaced because multiple whistleblowers have come forward and said that he is lying to the American public. He is basically there's something between him and the people that are reporting on this, and they don't want to deal with him. I don't know if they're whistleblowers or if they're people that are active on the programs, but they said they do not want to deal with him because they don't think he's an honest act. So it sounds like he's going to be replaced. It sounds like they either picked one or they're interviewing him right now, and so to me it at least gives me hope. Maybe before I die, we'll get some answers, or at least somebody will. And this is the thing. I got to be completely honest with you. I don't care as much if we get answers. I think we should be able to get some answers. But, and this was something they said on Skinwalker Ranch. They had these guys, they were former military, and at least one of the guys had been on the Nimitz, or he'd been on one of those naval ships that they had dealt with. There were 3 videos that were released from the military. He was on one of the ships where one of those videos happened. He was there when it happened. He was on the ship when it happened. It might not have, I don't remember if he saw it, but he was basically on the ship when it happened. So he was there. If he didn't see it, he was talking to people that had seen it. And he saw some of the stuff going on. Well, when they got talking about that, he goes, well, here's the thing you guys got to understand. He goes, because they were talking about, getting some of that footage. He goes, here's the thing. They were talking about how short the footage was. He goes, here's the thing you guys got to understand. He goes, there's more video. He goes, there's a lot more video. But he goes, he goes, and I think they said they didn't know if it was completely valid. But with the cases of sources and methods, and not wanting this stuff to fall into enemy hands, because it could be an advantage. He goes, you are not going to get anything with the bells and whistles. He goes, you're going to get the dumbed down stuff. He goes, there's a lot more. He goes, there's a lot more data. I guarantee it. But he said they don't want to make it public and then make it available for China, Russia, whoever else. And he goes, and that's just the way it is. But they somehow got some of it released, but he goes, they're not going to give anybody any more information than they have to. And he goes, that's just the way the military does stuff. And he goes, it might not even make sense, but it's a hard habit for them to break because they've been doing it since the Cold War started. Probably been doing it since before the Cold War. They probably were doing it when Germany was around. And okay. And then this is about the best I can do for right now until I actually get my emerald farm up and working. And the main thing I'm doing now is because I don't want to. I got a couple tridents over there, and I don't want to start them until. And I'll at least do one fishing stream this weekend sometime, I hope. And but what I'll do is I need mending books. I absolutely need mending books, and I either need to get one of these guys to start shitting me mending books, or I got to get them fishing. Okay. I don't know if I got enough levels for this yet. I think I need more emeralds, so I'll have to wait on that. Hang on a second. So yeah, that's the big news. And then the other thing was, and I don't. It seems to me that most of this was already told, but like some of it before. But the one new thing, it was an interview where they were talking to Ross Coulthart, the Australian, and it was like an Australian podcast, but they were talking to him, and they were talking to him, and one of the things he said, look, he's the one thing I just want to say is, because they were talking about that 60 Minutes thing, I think it was, that he had done for Australia, and he goes, well, the one thing I want to start is, I want to tell you, he goes, I can't go into a lot of detail, because he goes, I've talked to people on the condition of anonymity, but he goes, all of this stuff is real. And that was the thing, and I didn't know this. This I learned. But they said they've followed him because he's a big reporter. He's not really a big reporter worldwide yet, but he's pretty big in Australia. Like he's like he might be their Walter Cronkite or their Edward Murrow. He's kind of a big thing in Australia. And they were talking about how when this whole thing started, he was a skeptic. He was a non-believer. And they go now, and he goes, I do this pretty much all the time. He goes, that's my gig now. This is my beat. And they were talking about, a lot of people. They said, well, yeah, you don't want to really get too deep into that because people start thinking you're nuts. He goes, I've had colleagues tell me that. They go, man, I can't believe you're doing that. You're such a big reporter. That's just, and another one is George Knapp. This is a guy who has covered UFOs. Oh God, I think he started at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s, so at least 30, 40 years now. And he has not really gotten burned too terribly with the stigma. He is still an award-winning journalist. He's still on the iNews team in Las Vegas. And that Linda Moulton Howe, I don't know, maybe she's gone native now. I don't know, but I would consider her at least, I don't want to give anybody, if I'm not bad-mouthing her, I really don't know, because the stuff she does, I don't really see as much. I see Knapp more. But see, a lot of what she's done is she's got like a website, and it's probably something where you have to pay to be on it. And no offense, I'm not trying to be mean to her. You do what you got to do. I don't find any disrespect in it. I'm not meaning any disrespect in it. But it's just I'm not paying for it. I'll watch the stuff that's free. It might not be as accurate as hers. That I don't know. But I don't know if she's gone native or if she is still viewed by the world as just as credible as when she started. I don't know. But, she's another one, that, if she didn't, she didn't. But, starting out, when she covered this stuff, she was absolutely a rock hard journalist. Absolutely a rock. And if she isn't any more than that, sad. Because I kind of put her up there with like a Knapp. Maybe Dr. God, I can't think of the guy's name. He's the rocket scientist. He was an American, but I think he ended up retiring and dying in Canada. Like when he retired, that's where he went. Stanton Friedman, that's the guy's name. I would put her up with those guys for trying to get to the bottom of this. And I really hope she hasn't. I just don't know. I just literally do not know. And I don't want to brag somebody up if they don't deserve it. But I don't want to be mean to somebody if they. So I'm being completely honest. I had the utmost respect. I thought she was kind of hot too when she was younger. But I had the utmost respect for her. back in the day. I just don't know if she still meets that, and it's my respect, so it's not really worth that much anyways. But I don't want to brag somebody up if they're not worth it. And with her, I don't know. I know all I can tell you is back in the day, like when she first came on the scene, she was a rock solid journalist, absolutely rock solid. Kind of found out that he has been, he still does good, but he has been hit with a stigma because when they were first going to break the story recently about the UFO program and the military and all this, he was gearing up. He's like, "Oh my God, this is the moment." Seriously, I'm not exaggerating. He was honestly feeling this was the moment his life has been waiting for. When you hear that, I can't remember what it was from, but it was a movie or it was a TV show, and either that or it's a quote from some old dead white guy or something like that. Might be Marcus Aurelius or something like that. But the quote has to do with there are only 2 days in a man's life that mean anything. The day he was born and the day he discovers why he was born. And and that was like his moment. That was literally his moment. Like, oh man, Spank Bank was probably full, chubby, inflating, and he's thinking, my God, man, we can go do this. And then Senator Reid, who was a friend, and he helped Senator Reid discover about this. He helped him a lot, get in the right circles, which is what led to that UFO program being created. So Knapp really should take a bow no matter what. Well, Reid got a hold of me and goes, hey, I want you to stand back and just let these other reporters, and they had not put the time into it. This by about 3 or 4 different reasons, this was his. This was absolutely his. And he's like, hey, my whole career's been building for this. He goes, why should I stand down? And he said, because if you jump on it, nobody's going to pay attention to it. He goes, no offense, I'm just being honest. You will be seen as the UFO guy. He goes, it ain't right. It absolutely isn't right. It's not true, but that's how you will be seen, and it will not be taken seriously. But don't get mad at me if I get the name wrong, and I apologize to her. She definitely deserves better than if I'm going to get her name wrong. But I want to say it's Leslie Keene, and her father, I think it was one of the co-chairs of the 9/11 Commission, former politician. She's the one that did the story, and it was being picked up by the New York Times. That's what they told him. They go, hey, look, just lay off of it. Let her do the story. When it's done, give it a couple weeks, maybe a month, then write your story. Do a podcast. Make a documentary, whatever. And he it kind of hit him, and then he thought, well, you know what? They're right. If this can get done by the if this can get done, then that's the way to do it. And then once the New York Times breaks it, they're like a paper of record. And then it'll have more legitimacy. It'll be better for everybody in the long run. And so he agreed to it. Wasn't easy for him, but he agreed to it. And that's how we got that story breaking. And but yeah, they're having some shakeups. And then the other thing is we gotta wait and see who they actually put in that. And this, I don't know. I firmly think they need to take this out of the military's hands. I don't think they can be trusted. I really don't. And they should have learned this from the rape scandal. Some of this stuff needs to come out of the military. I think they need to put some decent people in there, because I think an honest assessment of this, you will come to the conclusion that we can't release everything. And I think they're going to need to triage that. I really think they're going to need to triage that. I need a pickaxe. I don't know how much I got. I should have some in reserve. I try not. I basically like to squirrel some away in case I have an emergency. Well, needing to do this for my stream, I guess, is an emergency. Well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna get one of these. And well, these guys are all sleeping. Give it a second. But it does look like some good stuff is coming. But yeah, they need to get this away. They can't have it with NASA because NASA, that guy, that Bill Nelly. Oh my God! Yeah, we're not looking at anything old. We're not looking at anything classified. Well, then what the fuck good are you? It's like, oh my God, seriously, it's like, yeah, you're fucking useless. I don't know. Efficiency. I've had two good toolsmiths. They've both been in there and they've both gotten killed. So I'm starting over. I'm not mad at anybody. It does kind of piss me off a little bit. And there we go. There we go. And oh. I'm getting lightheaded. I might take a break. But I think I got you all the UFO news. If I forgot something, I will try to do it. But I think, and at some of it, I think I might have done before, but I'm not 100% sure. But, oh, the sun's coming out. Well, hopefully everybody will have a good day. I will try to get on at least one day and do a fishing stream. See if I get a mending book. And if I can, I will get on and do a Diablo stream. And we can go from there. Hope everybody has a good day. Hope everybody has a good weekend. And take care.